Alrighty, so let's start off this week right. Sunday breakdown, GJ begins right now. Let's do a little bit of a recap from last week. So last week, as you can see, I took roughly like around 2 entries down here at 183.750 and 183 like around 600 area. You can see we rolled them all the way up, scaled in another wonderful entry. I think this is like around Wednesday. Scaled in another entry around, Wednesday, where I scaled in roughly here at 184.890 and 184.850. Rode them up for about 87 pips. As you can see, the move kind of pushed out a little bit more for a total of like 148 pips, and then we kind of retraced back down. So as far as for last week's moves goes, it really went really well. But let's kind of start off the week right, fresh analysis, and let's kind of see where we last left off. So same model as last week. As far as for supply and demand goes, we can kind of keep them as relevant to price as possible when it comes down to it. And just kind of looking at these defined areas. Now, roughly right around here, this was the last retest area that we used. I don't really see any perfect resistance on this time frame. I feel like really and truly, once we kind of kick down lower, we'll be able to see a lot more details better. Again, on the weekly time frame, which we are on now, I like to start off with this fib level just due to the simple fact it's the quickest to help me identify where I am within market structure. The only thing that I'm really going to change is the color coordination of my zones that I'm using on this time frame to interpret where I am within price at all times. You can see right around here, I'm going to start to begin the eclipse model where I roughly kind of do this. And what I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to take a picture. We're just going to download the image. Yeah, hopefully that worked. I don't know what that said. Hold on, let me see. Open image in new tab. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Let's continue to kick it off. So yeah, the weekly time frame, the reason why I took a snippet of this, it's very important to kind of see the last market structure level that we left off around. This also is the area that we were striving for from this big push up, hence why I'm kind of making sure it's visible. So we did hit the negative 61.8 area, and as you guys all know, that is a fib extension level of a TP, but we'll begin to kind of see the market structure that we began to make inside of here from here. So what I mean by that is, if you allow me to draw market structure, you'll kind of see the retest areas and the areas that price action kind of went to or would strive to go to throughout this overall push. So from here, from my perspective, we have a bit of a strong uptrend. And from right here, we can really kind of focus in, home in on this uptrend momentum right here. Now, I feel like the daily is going to do a better job of kind of explaining the process as far as for where we are within price. I feel like it would be a little bit more simplistic. We could see our supply and our demand zones kind of working out perfectly. We could see areas that we have resistance and where we have supports. We have a little bit more detailed on this time frame. You see like areas like right here, which I'll make in green. So boom. And then we also got a different type of structure. So just because this is an analyzing time frame, for me, there is a lot of things and factors that I kind of want to point out. So let's backtrack to the weekly for a second. On the weekly's projected, don't forget that we're in an uptrend and that this eclipse solidifies the first higher low that was made in that direction of trend, right? So you can see that up here, I do have a high point, but I do also have a trend line that can be made from this high point, right? This was the highest point that the market made. We didn't really transition to a trend until roughly down here when this previous point was broken. So to kind of make it make sense, this would be the more better fit for this overall move of this defined area. Regardless though, if you put it here or here, it would have resulted in a smooth break of structure, which is basically what we got here. And you can see the retest that we got here as well. So keep in mind, it's the details that kind of matter with this. So just looking where we are, we know that on a larger scale that the fib that we had started off with was somewhere over here, but now we're worried about the market structure that we made right here. So looking at the details of it and looking at the details of price action, price decided to find a area of support roughly down here around, you could say the 170, 157 flat. Let's just call it that. So price decided to make an area of support here. The reason why this is important because we want to see where the trend of support kind of took from and where we kind of went with it, right? So it was this area that kind of broke. Keep in mind that it was this push up that changed everything in this defined area. And what I mean by that is if you look where we kind of most recently broke a minor structure and try to compare it, you can see that right here we came down, we pulled back up, we came down, we pulled back up, right? All maintaining these uh, what do you call it, these lower high points, right? All maintaining, but until right here it was this push up that broke this previous one right here. So because of that, we have a new sense of direction, a new sense of trend that we can pick up off of. And then boom, right around here, this was our first official higher low, which we did kind of make roughly around here at the 180, 157, 500 area roughly. So that can get a blue clips as well. And you can see throughout this process, my biggest factors is just making sure that structure is moving as it needs to, and that price action is maintaining as we're kind of making or analyzing details, right? Looking at the main factors from here, price came back again and did this retest right around here. If you can't see the retest, you can see where we kind of pushed off from right here, and where price kind of made its retest. So you can see everything kind of coming into fruition at this area, right? When we stand back and we look at it, let's just remove the fibs so we don't have as much clutter. We could see the trend line, we could see where price is guiding, we could see the overall push up and the break, we could see the retest area, we could see where we were trapped between price. And I think from here, this is where the trend really got beautiful. Keep in mind that from right here to right here, price did respect V61.8. So just don't forget throughout your whole process to always bag it up and eclipse it. Boom. Now, you guys know the very first rule of structure. Once you have a point A and point B, you can drag it on to the future, which boom, we have something roughly like around this. I don't like to get too trendline crazy on the higher time frame, just because it's already normal to me on the trend that I'm moving. And then what I personally like to do now is I like to draw my overall trend, right, that the market is making, so that way I'm seeing where I'm going with the overall structurized movement, right? Looking at the details, right, we have this higher low right here. So really from here, we really didn't come back and make a market structure, attempt to make a market structure level from here. So on this time frame particularly, this is like where we are with the overall move, right? The price kind of just move off the 23.6. So because of this is a daily's perspective, I think that this daily's perspective can be taken into consideration. But I feel like more so as of now, price is really moving off of support and resistance. So I don't feel like it's completely necessary, right? Because price is really moving off of support and resistance, I feel like we need to kind of keep track on the lower time frames a bit. But just want to always have that analyzing data at your hand and at your fingertips. So looking at it from this perspective, this is why we kind of do what we do when it comes to market structure. This is kind of like why we kind of abide by these details. If we adapt this zone over here, right? Now, the main focus is not these higher time frame zones, but it's just making sure that price, when it creates a higher high, that price is still respecting that higher high point, along with making structure. So we can see from right here, we're going to pick up where we left off from that higher time frame right around here. Now, this is what the interesting details is. If you see right here, we have some wicks on this time frame, and if I was supposed to readapt market structure to this time frame as well, you would really be able to see that, hey, price kind of came down, pull back up, came down, pull back up, right? And price is really just kind of showing us that it was abiding by the downtrend, but then it did have momentum to break out. So what did it do when it broke out? It broke and it came down for its retest. So right around here, you can see we got a lot going on. We got the trend line, we got the zones, we got everything. But most importantly, we have wicks at 38.2. If you guys don't know how fibs works, once it prints on a fib level, it counts as that level being market structure. You can see clear as day that on this time frame, boom. I'm gonna start using black as my supply and my demand zones, so I could see the areas that are important throughout this overall process of trend. So you can see roughly around here, where if we go to the 10 hour, the 11 hour, that price really came and printed on this 38.2, which is deeming it as an area of importance of support and also making a higher low. So we could theoretically, we could say that, hey, price came up here, price came back, boom. If you want to see what price is retesting, all you got to do is just look to the left to get right, and boom, boom. So now we're seeing right here where we have that area, right? Boom. I'm pretty sure if we dig deeper, we could find a QP in there, but I want to stay focused on the overall area of trend. So now we're kind of moving forward with the overall process. Boom, right? Now I'm dragging it up to right here to the highest standpoint because the very first thing I want to point out is that we made a resistance area right around here. Boom, that's going to help us out later. And we came and impacted the zone as well to make our higher low multiple times. So again, we're moving perfectly in the direction of trend. Y'all guys know how I like to get it. Once you have your point A and your point B, you can move it to the future and boom. So let's delete this fib. But most importantly, let's see this trend line that we have if it's abiding by price. So boom, you can see that this trend line was very magnificent in this area and in this process, and boom, right? So now we're looking at it like this, boom, boom, boom. And now you're just seeing the same details kind of play out over and over. So our price is really using support and resistance to really mitigate price to these higher high points. You can see that right around here, price came and tested right here on my crosshairs is tested 61.8. 61.8 is a market structure level, but it tested it, which means that it respected 50%. We're deleting it and we're just continuously going up. Now, roughly right around here is where the trend kind of gets very monstrous, but we could see that with the eclipse and with the details that we're doing quite fine when it comes to the structure and the trend of data. So, boom, right? Next thing I want to kind of impact is boom from here. Boom, 23.6. Boom, 23.6, 23.6. So whenever you get these back-to-back 23.6s, I say you want to go lower in data from where you are, right? Like nothing doesn't really change too much on these higher time frames, but about when you get to like the 6 hour, the 4 hour, and areas like this, you can really begin to see the details within this area. And it's these little details that matter, right? Because essentially we should have our area of our higher high marked off, at least with a zone, so we know where we are within price. If you want, I'll make this the borders in white so that way you can kind of see it a little bit better up there. And from here, we're just looking at areas that make details. Keep in mind that when you get structure, essentially we're used to looking for things like this, right? We're used to looking for things like this. Keep in mind that before you make that next higher high, you come back here, you can get little mini trends like this, that as long as all these higher lows are maintaining right here, that you're good to go up. So that's essentially what I like to look for. I like to look for the details from the last structure point, and boom. You can also see that as we're moving up, we're abiding by perfect support and resistance, and you can see that right around here. We made support at a QP as well, which is a major. So we're doing quite well when it comes to the overall uptrend motion. But again, from this standpoint right here of this 4 hour time frame, if I hit reset, and we just look at the overall broad perspective, we also have a fib from right here, which let me get it on the wick exactly. And from right here, really and truly, we never really made any more market structure levels. It's really just been all 23.6 and all price abiding by that area until we kind of got up around here, which we made 38.2. So whichever perspective you want to go and you want to look at it, if you go down any more lower than the 4 hour, you'll probably get a market structure point somewhere within these details, right? But I feel like the main perspective that we want to kind of stay focused on is where we are within current price. Whether if you have your fib level here, 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 or here, there is a fib level somewhere within this area, you're still going to get a market structure point over here. So I kind of want to focus on the relevance of price as of right now. And I kind of want to backtrack and just look at where we are. So overall, this was a very steep higher low. I feel like the lower time frames are going to do the best job at kind of explaining what we're looking for here. So I'll cut initially to the 1 hour. Oh no, let me cut back to the 4 hour. I'll start from the 4 hour because I feel like from right here, we have the areas of importance as far as for higher high areas, right? Like we know what areas are higher highs, we know what areas are higher lows and everything of the such. But most importantly, from we made this higher low right here, where are we now within structure? That's always what we got to ask ourselves. Where are we within the overall big picture? So if we were supposed to start a fib from here to here and we made a high point, you would roughly begin to see that price actually did come back and settle on a 38.2. Not only that as well, but also the 180 500 QP, which you'll see me punch in the coordinates now. And I feel like, again, when price kind of comes to this level, it made some type of support with these wicks right here and this area. But most importantly, 38.2 was respected to maintain the trend. And then from here, you could just see that from right here, we did a smooth job of just picking off with trend. Whenever you feel like you don't know like where you are within trend, or it's kind of hard to see it, when in doubt, just draw it. If you draw a trend, it'll make your life 1,000% easier. You can see that we broke, we came back for our retest from over here where we broke. So it's as simple as that, kind of looking at the easier perspective of data as of right now, right? Where price is really kind of functioning off of support and resistance. You can see that we came back, we made a beautiful 50% area, right? Not only that, but again, keep in mind that support and resistance is being used at these areas that are important, where price kind of came back to get its retest to kind of continue. So it's just little areas that you kind of want to also make sure that you're just looking out for in the direction of trend. Boom. So we came back right here. And I think from here is where the 23.6 really kind of picked up a little bit as well, right? 23, we didn't even make it, boom, right? And then we began to reject right here. So even on this beautiful 4-hour perspective, this is also a perspective which I'll take a picture and I'll drop for you guys as well. Hold on, let me smile for the camera. God damn, I hope it took it. Oh, it didn't even get my face in there. That's sad. So I feel like from right here, we want to kind of pay attention to the details. Let's look at the 3-hour. Pretty much the same thing. 2-hour. The 2-hour, we have a tad bit more with details. It didn't really come back to the higher high area, which is roughly right around here. But we did do a good job of maintaining. So I just want to see what that looks like on fibs. Yep, 23, 23, 23. Yep. So really all the same thing with these 23s. Let's go down to the 1-hour, which is the last time frame that we're going to be analyzing on. So when I come to this beautiful 1-hour time frame, the very first thing what I want to personally do is I want to just draw all the details of structure that I see. The only reason why I want to do that because price can move off of support and resistance off of any price point that it chooses or that it dictates from. So I feel like you really kind of want to pay attention to what's on the left, again, to kind of help you get right. I always say that. It's a statement that's always going to go down in history, right? You can see even right here how price used right here to kind of continue to push up. Then from right here, retest. Then we kind of came, pushed up a little bit harder. Then we kind of came, we bottomed out. And then from right here was where we started kind of moving a bit aggressive and consolidating a bit. So boom, if you look even right here, there's a zone right here. You dig what I'm saying? So all these little zones, when it comes to price action, they matter, right? They matter to me. Now, looking at this overall perspective from this last eclipse area, when I zoom in, let me see where that wick's at. Gotta grab that wick. Now, boom. All right, so right here, there is a bit of a higher low that was maintained, right, roughly right around here, right? It maintained and kept on pushing for the overall trend to continuously go up. Let's just see from right here if we have anything else. Let me see, let me zoom in, get that wick. All right, boom. So the very first thing that I'm doing is I'm dragging it to this high, and I'm seeing from this high, how are we doing, right? When I look at this overall area, and I just drag it to the left, 50% was respected here. So all it's doing is just giving us areas that we can improve upon to move up with structure. Boom, boom, boom. So now we could recalibrate from right here, being that it was a market structure area. Looking at price. Okay. We had something right here as well. And now you're just beginning to see like how price really kind of plays its standpoint within price. Now I want to see if any of these trend lines that I have are deemed good for this overall push. So when I see it, they are maintaining from this price point, but none of them are making the importance that we need within this overall area to continue maintaining the trend. So let me see something real quick. Let me turn that off. Let me see. 23. 23. Boom. So cool. So we came back to a golden zone with this particular move right here, and hence why it's making sense now. So this is what I do see as of right now, where we kind of are with the in structure and everything. Now, as of right now, it is maintaining at this 61.8 area. On top of that, I'm trying to see if I could draw a structure a little bit more cleaner on this 1 hour time frame to really just make sure that the details are all in sync. Let me see. Let me see. So we came down from here, 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 here. You could say here, and we came back here. Okay, we did a little retest here. We shot up, made the high point, came back. And then, yeah, this is where we started bugging out at. So the way how I see it as of right now, we are doing good as far as for trend goes, and everything is looking fine. What I'm seeing is that as of right now, we just want to kind of wait, right? We just broke the major of the 185 flat, and we want to wait to strive and see where price is kind of going from here. The 750 also is being respected as well, and then the 750 is being respected as well. So I have a range for this overall up push for this long position. I'm expecting price to come back and retest and then continue to go, because it looks like we were kind of making strong rejections at the around the 250 QP area. If you look this into the detailed area, looks like we were rejecting that a little bit, but we're building momentum to go higher. So what I'm striving is that this area, maybe we're gonna come back down. We could probably, this is my projection, it's just a projection. We could either do something like this to where we come here, and then we push up, or, right, we can do something like this. So we come from here, and then we push up. Or, lastly, we can do something like this to where we push up, we come back down, or we just even push straight back up. So there's multiple projections when we come down to this. So because of this, I want to kind of leave where price is at right now. Boom. I say, hey, this is the overall range of this move. But long-term wise, I'm seeing something like from here all the way back up to 0%. And risk to reward wise, that's a good 2. You're risking then almost 50 pips to make this push up. But as the market opens, I'll be able to kind of critique these details a little bit more with support and resistance on the lower time frames, and really strive to see where price is really striving to go. This is your boy Drewizebanks. Thank you so much. GJ Breakdown out.